Hey guys, this is Marshall Kirby from Orchard Hill Farm Equipment. Behind me, we have a pretty cool video today. These are two comparable orange tractors. They both start with the letter K. We're going to talk about just the differences between these two tractors. They compare side by side in their specs and lineups. Both manufacturers go head to head and compete against who has the better tractor. We're going to go over today maybe who is the better tractor, not necessarily which one is better, maybe which one's better for you. Some of the specs on the Kubota might be better than this Kioti and vice versa. We are a Kioti dealership in Western Massachusetts, and we've been selling Kiotis for nearly 30 years. And it is a great product. Kioti is manufactured in South Korea, while the Kubota is manufactured in Japan. Both are very well-known brands in the industry. Kioti is nowhere near, today is nowhere near where they were 10 years ago. Kioti has grown to extreme heights in the last 10 years. Their product line has nearly doubled or tripled, and product offering has nearly tripled. Their attachments lineup has grown. Their financing has gotten better. Their warranties got better, and a lot more. And their pricing has stayed pretty good and in line, meaning that a lot of times these Kiotis are going to price out a lot cheaper than the comparable Kubota. So we're going to show you what you get, on the Kioti and what you get to compare to the Kubota. Today we are comparing the Kioti CK2610, which is our dealership's #1 selling tractor here at Orchard Hill, and the Kubota L2501, which, if I am not mistaken, is one of Kubota's top selling models in their lineup today as well. This L2501 and CK2610 will probably be reintroduced into the market under a new model in the next couple years here with more updates, but this is as of today. If you walk on a Kubota lot or if you walk on a Kioti dealership's lot, what you're going to find, what the features each tractor is going to have, and we're going to go over that and some of the specs differences. So we'll start on the front of both these tractors. This tractor is equipped with a Kubota LA525 loader with a 66-inch skid steer quick attach front bucket. That quick attach system is the same as Kioti. Kioti's bucket is a different color, but it is also 66 inches as well. The Kioti bucket does come pre-drilled for a wearable, a replaceable, optional add-on cutting edge bolt-on. The Kubota bucket over here, I don't want to lie, I believe they do make it an option now, but when this model is about a year old, 2 years old, it was not an option, so you'll see no bolt holes. But if I do remember correctly, it is an option now that Kubota offers as an option. Kioti is adding the pre-drilled holes on every bucket, so you can add it now or down the road. You don't have to buy the pre-drilled bucket specifically. This loader on the front pivot pin, lift capacity at the back of the bucket is right under 1,200 pounds. That's what the spec sheet reads. That's not out to the front of the bucket. That is, the back of the bucket is right around 1,200 pounds. The back side of the Kioti bucket is rated at over 1,800 pounds. So probably the #1 difference between these two tractors is the loader lift capacity. A lot of people, when they say, oh, well, that's because the geometry is different. Somewhat, yeah, that can be true in certain cases. A lot of times the height can differ the lift capacity a little bit. So this loader does lift 4 inches lower to the ground, meaning its maximum lift height is 94 inches tall to the bottom pivot pin. This loader picks up over 98 inches tall. So this loader is picking up more weight, and it's also doing it at a 4-inch higher height, which is pretty incredible. That's one of my favorite specs that does beat out the Kubota. Now we're going to dig into other things that might differ from that, but that's an interesting spec. When comparing these tractors, the loaders are majorly different between the two. And I'm not saying that this loader is bad. This loader is well known for its great capabilities, and honestly, it probably does lift a little bit more than the spec sheet reads. It is a very qualified loader. The next thing we'll talk about is the front axles. So you're gonna, dive in here and we'll take a peek at what's different about these two front axles. This is a major difference between the standard L series Kubota and the Kioti. So this is your power steering system. There is basically a large tie rod link going to the front underneath the grill guard area, and it also V's out to the other side of the front axle. This part is probably one of the most common broken parts on the front end, or I shouldn't say is possibly, it is the #1 broken part on the front end of these tractors. It's a little bit more susceptible to damage. It does stick out. There's no problems. This system works. It's just susceptible to getting hit a little bit more. It is still power steering. The front axle I have no complaints on. They do a very good job on the standard L series. Very, very heavy duty and rugged front axle. We'll take a walk over to the Kioti over here and we'll take a peek at what they're offering. So as you're going to notice, this front axle is also very large and very good castings, very thick and heavy duty. But you're going to notice this steering is hydraulic power steering that's tucked away quite nicely. Doesn't stick out, right? The Kubota went way out over here, so much more tucked away and protected there. They both achieve the same power steering and same, controls. This setup does give you a little bit better turning radius, and when I say better, I mean, a 1/4 of a foot better. This one turns at 8, I believe it is 8 feet turning radius, all the way tight turning. That one's 8.2. I mean, we're talking very minimal, but that does play an effect in that turning radius difference. So turning radius is a little bit better on this Kioti here. They both come with a grill guard when you buy the loader standard. They both do come with metal hoods, which is awesome. We like to see that. And they both are a very similar engine. They're a 3-cylinder, 100.5 cubic inch engine. So very similar motor. These motors are bigger than your traditional 25 horse engines. That's because these engines technically are just a 30 horsepower block turned down a little bit to meet emission standards. So both these tractors are #1 selling for probably one reason and one reason only. They are the largest tractor you can buy without having the government regulate to Tier 4 emissions, meaning they're right under 26 horsepower. They don't have a computer under this hood, and there is no regen or DPF filter required on these tractors. So that's pretty slick. And yes, you get the same weight, the same lift capacity, the same tire size, the same transmission as the 35 and 40 horsepower models in both these tractors lineups. So a lot of people that just are looking for the weight and the lift capacity will stick with that 25 horse. Now, if you need the PTO horsepower for a brush cutter or something that's a little bit larger, then you're gonna have to step up into that 35 or 40 horsepower tractor. But that's just a little tidbit of information on what these two tractors are. Fuel tanks, let's talk about fuel tanks, since on the Kubota it's right here coming up as we're working our way down the machine. The fuel tank of the Kubota is on top of the hood. The Kioti is in a totally backwards spot. It is nowhere near the front of the tractor. It's all the way in the back. A little bit easier to fill, in my opinion. If you're filling it and you spill it everywhere, guess what? You're not spilling it all over your hood and your fender or whatever. You're in the back end of the tractor, which I don't really, worry about fuel getting on that too much. So Kubota is up front. I don't recall the fuel tank capacity, but I imagine they are probably pretty close. As we work our way down, let's look at the next thing, the floorboards, right? So let's take a peek, view in from here. We're going to talk about the floorboard layout. So this is a standard L series tractor. In a gear shift, you're going to have a shifter that's located in a cutout right on top of the transmission. The Hydro has none of that, but it has a heel toe rocker pedal. So your forward and reverse motions are right here, and your brake pedals are right here. Splittable brakes, all right? The other side has your diff lock, your four-wheel drive, and stuff like that. But just take a peek at how tall this hump is to get in and out, okay? We're gonna go over to the Kioti and show you what this has to offer. So we'll check out a little view from this side. The hump is about half as severe. A lot more leg room, I can tell you that right now. There is a lot of leg room on this CK series. That is probably my favorite feature about this. It's just so comfortable to drive. You don't feel like you're squeezed in it. And then probably the next best thing a lot of people rave about is this. On a hydrostatic transmission, you have forward and reverse pedals that are separate side-by-side pedals. Great feature. We love to see that. You don't have anything interfering on your floorboard. You can get in and out on the right or left side. Just such a great, awesome feature. Next, if we're looking at a gear shift, a standard transmission, which this does offer that in this model, you are not going to have a cutout on the top interfering with your legs. It is a cutout right at recessed on the fender, tucked away. So again, you can operate and exit the vehicle very simply and not have anything catching your pant legs and stuff. So again, Kubota's going to have a shift fork in the middle here. Kioti, you're going to lose this phone holder or whatever you want to call it holder here and get a 3-speed with a reverse stick shift right there. Let's look at the seats. There's a little bit of a difference there. This seat is a fully cushioned cylindered seat. It means you can adjust for the weight of the person and control your forward and reverse movement on this seat. Very, very nice. We're going to take a peek over at the Kubota and see what they have to offer on their seat setup. Again, I'm not trying to bash the Kubota. This Kubota tractor is a super hot seller, and it is a quality machine. But these are just some feature differences and minor little differences that a lot of our customers notice here. This seat is sitting on springs. If we flip it up, you have these springs back here. There is no adjusting for the weight of the person. The springs do a decent job, but not quite as much of a nice adjustable job for as the Kioti has. Now, the seat does come forward and reverse, which is always handy. You definitely want to be able to have that. There's nothing wrong with this design. It gets the job done. It cuts the cost down. This is, again, supposed to be the standard L tractor, right? It's their basic model, cuts the cost down, keeps it simple, and people like that. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's just a difference. 3-range transmission in the hydrostatic, 2 in 4-wheel drive are both mechanical in and out linkages, very basic on both. I love that about both of them. The grease zerks, let's look at those. They are inner tubed on the Kioti loader, which is an awesome feature. You know, never gonna break any off. That is on all of them. The Kubota, they are external. So, you know, we will come out here and see some of these. Now, I will give them this. They were smart enough to put them internal down by the bucket. Reason they did that is because the number one thing broken on the front of this loader is grease fittings down there. So they were smart enough a few years back to do that. Great idea. I like to see that there. Let's talk about one of the next things in line, which is going to be your loader control. All right, both these loaders do come with float, which is a great feature. You want to have that. It's a basic necessity that most people want to get when they're buying a tractor loader. Float sometimes can be not on a tractor and you don't even realize it, but most tractors nowadays, it is standard on. The float features for back dragging and leveling out dirt and whatnot. This loader, all right, has an awesome valve. I can give Kubota that. The valving on this loader to do multi-functions in the corners is slick. Kubota is very well known for that, and I do give them credit for that, very well so. Now, the biggest difference I would say is the Kioti. So this is a reach out, sitting over here, you reach out to here. Let's take a walk around to this side of the Kioti, show you just where that loader control is. Kioti on the CK series since day one has been on your fender. They've never offered a reach out joystick. This is super close to you. You have less stuff in your way to get in and out of the tractor. I definitely like this CK series loader joystick. It as well has float. They both do have a lockout loader in level feature, so you can lock that loader in the air. Great feature. They both have a standard 3-point hitch control, very basic. They both have cup holders, very basic. They both have a folding ROPS bar, as you can see, at a very similar height. They both do not have tilt steering wheels. They both have blinkers, 4-way directionals, glow plugs, PTOs in the back, a lot of the same stuff. Both loaders can be removed. They both have kickstands. You'll notice on both loaders underneath the loader there to drop and hold that loader up. They both have many tire choices. They both have steel fenders. They both have an optional full subframe 7.5-foot backhoe. That model ends up having a backhoe on it. This one just didn't at the time to do this video, unfortunately. They both have a Category 1 3-point hitch. They both have a 540 PTO. They both come with a drawbar. They both come with a really good warranty. These tractors both are really good, okay? This video was not intended to bash on the Kubota. I've been trying to do this video, gosh, for many years, and I'm sure I could have spent another 25 minutes showing some similarities and differences on these tractors. But I just wanted to get the job done on some minor differences that our customers notice and see when they're comparing to this L2501, and maybe just a reason as to, you know, lean you one way or the other on the tractor. I personally would spend my own money on this L2501. I am not bashing this tractor in any way, shape, or form. It's super popular. We get customers in all the time that, you know, have owned an L series previously and are upgrading and love the L series. The Kioti is just a little bit more modernized, a little bit more featured, and also the cost is a lot cheaper. So that's what we're seeing. That's what a lot of our customers are seeing. We hope you enjoyed this video. Without a doubt, would love to get the opportunity to give you a quote on a CK Kioti tractor. We usually stock dozens of them at any given time. Our phone number is 413-253-5456. We hope you found this video informative and helpful on your search for a new tractor. Thanks guys, Marshall from Orchard Hill.